Hi guys, today we're gonna start with part number 2 of Mod Flood video, and it's gonna be about the antique technologies. As most of you have already seen some of my videos about technologies, but some of you guys haven't even touched this topic, and maybe you're not even familiar with what I was presenting for quite a while, because I was surprised to see 38 videos uh, in that playlist of antique technologies that I've got on my YouTube channel. So we have like building construction technologies, we have 3D printing, we have high-tech technologies, we have ancient Skype, even ancient devices, cable-free electricity, and so ancient teleport. We have air fleet of ancient people. So we have a whole bunch of evidence that ancients actually had more advanced technologies that we have, because they were more ecological, they were more specifically variable, so they had like multiple purpose in every technology. So they even had lasers, they even had, they had everything. We don't have as much as they had in those times. So I'll not describe each and every one of those technologies that I already had presented on my channel. So you might as well check this playlist and make your own decision if it's really true. But today I'm gonna present you something else, something that is really weird and strange, and it's pretty much connected to the ancient electricity video that I had, which was about atmosphere electricity that ancient used on every cathedral, every church. And so you might as well just check this video first before you check the rest if you haven't seen any of them. So this is ancient gravure, and it's dated for like 1650, so it's like 17th century. So let's try to check it in general view. Okay, we have like this German writing here. I'm not very familiar with German, but something about 1650 or so on here, which is presented on 14th of July, maybe the year of 1650, so something like that. So it was made at this period, so it's pretty authentic. I'll leave you a link so you can check it out by yourself. But as we can see, it presents in general some like a huge fair that we have, like this is fireworks and stuff like that. So nothing really strange if you look at it in general, but if you zoom in you can see a whole bunch of interesting things like this. So we're gonna switch to the article, Russian guy who was already describing a whole bunch of electricity stuff, ancient electricity, so on. So he called them like Jedi electricity, like from Star Wars and stuff like that. So this is the same picture, and it's zoomed in. So as you can see, those guys have plasma or even lightning coming out of those swords or whatever, and it's pretty weird because we have like those guns with gunpowder. So still it's the same time they use the gunpowder cannons and stuff like that. So it's pretty authentic, and probably this picture shows us how really those fair markets or fairs, or if maybe celebrations of some affairs were proceeded. And it's he compares it to this fair show, maybe somewhere in Germany or where whatever. Those guys having those Tesla uh, Tesla type of lightnings coming out of them and stuff like that. So this is pretty much the same, but they don't have swords like those guys, and those guys have swords which are accumulating the energy, and then they can release the energy and make it look perfectly pretty much the same as those guys. So they control the energy, and they use the swords to control them. So okay, there's a general view again. So whatever this guy is showing here, this circle above this huge castle, and this circle looks like a Tesla, and this is the same circle here, here, and here, and looks like a Tesla electric device. So Tesla wasn't that stupid. He just engaged and revealed the ancient secrets. Maybe not the secrets at that time, maybe they were familiar with those technologies in the beginning of 20th century, where Tesla actually used them. So again, we see those guys fighting with those lightning strikes, and we see a whole bunch of people here. So people were interested in that, and it was pretty common thing. Maybe not not that strange for us to see it in the late medievals, the Dark Ages, as they tell us. Those religious guys tell us that they had no technology, they had nothing. They just were praying and, you know, killing each other and stuff like that. But they were pretty fun. They had pretty much fun there, as you can see. So those guys were engaging with all this electricity and plasma. Maybe picture doesn't represent everything that they had on this fair, but looks like they had a whole bunch of strange technologies. And that's no Bengals lights. They just looks like pretty much the same, like here. And so he shows this blueprint of the laser and the plasma device, which can generate the, maybe I'm kind of wrong in translation, but looks like it pretty much the same. So look at this guy. He's like sending a lightning on the cable, and this lightning looks like an angel and something like that. Those guys having like those spears or pikes maybe, and those guys have like a little plasma lights here too. But those guys, they looking like musketeers from these movies about Three Musketeers and stuff like that. But so it's pretty amazing for me to get this gravure and check it out like this. Okay, and what again? So this is the thing that I showed was above those castles, and it looks like this Tesla thing with this plasma electricity, and so it's comparable, pretty much comparable to that. And again, look at this, it's pretty much the same. So, and we're gonna switch to maybe this article here, which is which shows us those swords that they used in ancient times. So those swords probably were the same as we can see on those pictures that I've showed you just before. And maybe this one is a good example. It has this wave structure, and it's pretty huge for human size. So those little guys on the picture were probably a lot taller than we think, because they had those swords and they were comparable to those their height. But these swords are not comparable to human height, average human height in a modern time. And we're thinking about those spades and maybe some like strange devices. They can be used only as a weapon, but this is not just a weapon. It is an electric plasma device. This is the protection. This is some type of isolation material, so the guy who holds this weaponry doesn't get shocked by the electricity and stuff like that. And again, we see this blueprint, and look at this. This is pretty much the same. So this is an electric device which is comparable to a high-tech device that we have right now. And look at the wave structure here. So this is not just ammunition, or maybe whatever you call it. This is the protection from the plasma electricity, and that's why it's so weird. It looks pretty much weird to carry on because it's heavy, and you cannot be just fighting with this stuff because you cannot move exactly free to move, you know. You can't be so simple, but it can be used in plasma protection. So whatever those devices were useful, these are not just weapons. These are not cold weapons as we call it in Russia. This is electricity, plasma weaponry of ancient people. And we have a whole bunch of those. You can't just cut a person with this type of shit, you know. This is impossible. You cannot just, you know, cut his head off and stuff like that. But you can use it as a plasma container or whatever. So that's why we have all those legends about the guy who is, you know, swinging his sword, and, you know, a whole bunch of people like dies and stuff like that, because actually he could have been, you know, throwing plasma waves and stuff like that, just like in those computer games, like we can see right now with those, you know, magicians and you know, magic knights and stuff like that, hitting those crowds of orcs and, you know, some demons and stuff like that. But this is pretty much the same. So again, this is a nice example. How could you use this as a weapon? No way. There's no way. But you could have used it as an electric device, as an electric weaponry, and that's okay with that. Okay, so this is not just a simple cold weaponry, and this is the protection that could have been used not to get burned by these ancient technologies that they used. So that's pretty much for today, and again, we have a whole bunch of technology coming up, and a whole bunch of things to reveal, like those plasma waves, those plasmas, you know, stuff like that. You know, this is energy. They used and contained those energy. Those ants, those giant people, those huge guys that were living before us, they were pretty much aware of that, and that's why We have so many artifacts that we can refer to that age as advanced technology. This is not just fireworks. This is incredible technology, and we have to search and research and research again and again and again until we come up with some knowledge about what they actually did. And those things, just amazing. So they not even had electricity, wireless transfer of electricity. They had a whole bunch of different stuff. A whole bunch of different stuff. We cannot even imagine how advanced those technologies were. We just have to watch it and think about it as crazy pictures, but this is not crazy, this is real. And that's why those religious guys, the player number 2 that I've showed you yesterday in my presentation, that's why they hide in all this stuff, because they actually got control of those energy points, and they containing this energy and using it for their own purposes, not for community purposes, not for people's purposes. They're using it for their own methods and means. And just imagine what can they do with this energy if they send it in their own way, in their own purpose. They're just stealing the energy that people could have get it. The bad point is that all those churches, all those ancient objects that we used to have as our own, being captured. And they were captured in 19th and 20th century, totally captured and destroyed. Some of them were destroyed, some of them just being used in those evil or maybe strange ways that they use it right now, just for religious purposes. And they were community purposes. People used to charge their batteries in churches. People used to transfer and send information, have a video conferences with the gods and maybe people from other lands and stuff like that. People used to get to teleport in the church. They used to send their and transfer some of the information, some of the maybe even presents to other continents. This is completely weird, but we have to search and reveal. So that's okay for today. That's why the player number 2 is so important. And again, if we go to this presentation again, we're gonna find out that we have odds and evens. So player number 1, international bankster community, is engaged with player number 3. They're allies with globalists. And player number 2, religious and Zionist Mafia, is engaged with nationals. They're tightly engaged with nationals because odds and evens are always fighting each other, but sometimes, some way, they're all connected and they all have same interests. And for example, if we talk about bankster community and the globalists, they have digital control and new world order propaganda, and they have global monetary system, and they have global business development and capitalism. So they are pretty much the same, and they doing this hidden game to protect the interest of each other, and they interact in such activities like Bilderberg groups and stuff like that, where they can meet and do whatever to promote their interests. So religious and Zionist guys like Here we have Orthodox Greek Church and Russian Orthodox Church. Of course, they be allies to national, in case of Russia, KGB, because they've been helping Putin and his team to promote their national interests, because they want to be not the player number 5, the line number 5 in player number 2. They want to be player number 1 in this, situation in player number 2, because Chabad is definitely the first place here, and Catholic Church and Jesuits are so enormously protecting Chabad and their place, and they are pretty much they don't let anyone to come close to Chabad. Mormon Church is also very wealthy, and they don't want anyone down here to come up. So that's why we can have intersections, interactions, or whatever with player number 2 and player number 4, and so is player number 1 and player number 3, because they are evens. Okay, so I hope you ask me more questions so I can be specific in my part number 3, which is gonna be a little more descriptive, or maybe specific on these guys. I want to talk about these guys for a couple of videos, because those guys are really the player number 1, because they have more power than any of those players 2, 3, and 4 combined. That's why they winning, and that's why they taking the lead. So thanks a lot for watching. Hope you like this video. Hope you like this message that I'm sending. And sorry for those guys who are pretty religious and talking about Bible stuff and stuff like that. This is all completely not what you think. And I'm gonna talk about this maybe a little bit later. I hope we make this documentary movie in 15 or 20 parts, but that depends on you. If you're gonna watch, if you're gonna share, if you're gonna like, I'm gonna make more specific videos on each and every part. Why is this happening? And sooner or later we're gonna come up with why mud flood is so important, because it's the base that we can like shake all those players and come up with our interests, our people interests, and our interest is to reveal the truth and make those guys stop playing with us. I don't want those guys to play with us. They are playing, and the world is not a theater. We can change it. We can change it. But until then, we defend, and you cannot win while you defend. Defense is not offense. You can only win with offense. But we cannot do offense because we don't have no base. And the only base that we have right now is mud flood. It's obvious. It's all around the world. And we can promote it so people can understand what are we talking about. And join us in this movement, because there's no other base than that. There's no other point that we can be united with, because this is obvious, and it's almost in every ancient town which is like older than 19th century. Everything that's before 19th century been affected by mud flood. Everything. So thanks a lot again, and see you later. Bye.